Well, we sure had a nice day today. It's funny, the meme I shared yesterday was 2 weeks ago, people had a lot of money. Today, no money. That was yesterday. And then 2 weeks later, people have a lot of money again. It's exactly that meme happened, except for a little bit faster than we expected. We saw crazy stuff happen, everybody. But before we jump into today's story, thank you, K8, Sean D, T&D, Renato. Did I say that again? Renato, yeah, thank you. Let's get into the story. This is called Fed Fuels the Rally. And literally, the Jackson Hole speech. Many of us were worried about this for a long time because normally he's very negative, very hawkish. Hawkish is negative. Dovish is positive. He was dovish today, and he hinted at rate cuts. And that sparked an incredible rally. Bitcoin jumped 4,000 in minutes. Ethereum shot up 7%. Altcoins rocketed too. And prediction markets now have a rate cut in at 90%. And it was under 80% yesterday. So that's how things change. Bitcoin right now is $117,000. 117 grand. Yesterday, everybody thought we were dead. And that's how I say risk happens fast. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good. Let's get into the story. And of course, not financial advice, just a guy on the internet. And shout out to everybody on Patreon. This is from Multitasking Ninja. Patreon pays for itself. Woohoo. Awesome. Thank you, Multitasking Ninja. And yes, multitasking is a very important skill. Let's look at some charts first before we get into the crazy news. This is the bears yesterday from James Check on Chain. The bears were out in force again yesterday until now. Bitcoin pulled back a whole 9 percentage points from a fresh all-time high. And you think the end is nigh. It's always the same. It's once again so over. People pack their bags, headed home. That was it. Done. And then today happens. And the most fascinating thing about this cycle, with no equal, unlike any other cycle, there's a lot less volatility. And it's incredible. It's incredible how bearish people are and how much PTSD there is out there. A lot of it. I've never seen anything like it. There is time to have PTSD and be bearish, but not all the time. Also, crypto the last 7 days, you can see Bitcoin up. Look at that number. Can't make this stuff up. $116,666.82. Now it's $116,900 as we speak live, up 4,400 today. It's all over the place. It shot up a minute ago to 117.4. Looks like it's bouncing all over. Solana had a good week, up 10%. Ethereum up 5.5%. Binance 6%. XRP 6%. A lot of 6%ers in here. And again, all in all, a very good week. But a lot of that change happened literally in the last few hours. Now, yesterday I pointed out, or was it the day before, but this guy looked downtrodden. This was a picture of him yesterday picked up by a reporter. And I noticed and called that he was beaten. And in case you don't realize what's happening, the Fed is about to start cutting rates into stagflation. Okay, that means, thank you TKL as well, the rate cuts into rising inflation and a weakening labor market. If you don't own assets, you'll be left in the dust. That's typically what happens. There's also some crazy stats. I hope I included a slide, I think I did, of what happens when rate cuts happen when the markets are at all-time highs. That is bonkers alpha for you. But let's talk about some more odds. We now have a 90% chance, well, 89.2% chance of rate cut. Again, this is volatile. It changes all the time. Yesterday, that was 75%. Again, things change in a dime. But this is the magical piece, okay? Ready? This is the exciting one. This is the actual history. When the Fed cuts interest rates, when the stock market is within 2% of an all-time high, the S&P has gone on to finish higher over the next 12 months all of the time. 100% hit rate, 20 out of 20 times that this happened. It adds up. It goes up a lot. The average return over the next 12 months is 14%. Remember, okay, in the stock market, winners take most. So if the average index goes up 14%, that means the winning assets go up a lot more and the stagnant zombies stay flat or go down. That's crazy, crazy. And another crazy Bitcoin news. Allianz flips the script. They do a complete 180. And now they say Allianz in Germany, it's a $2.5 trillion asset manager. They say now Bitcoin is a credible store of value. So in come the Germans after, I hope Allianz maybe should have bought that 50,000 Bitcoin that county sold. But they see it now as a fundamental component of modern portfolio construction. It's like slowly then suddenly is happening. And Allianz praised Bitcoin's deflationary design and low correlation with traditional markets. All the usual stuff that we know, they're now stating the obvious, but they expect Bitcoin and digital assets to become the cornerstone of the global financial future. So, bravo, Allianz, as Bitcoin hits $117,000 as we speak. And another crazier stuff, we know there's a nation state or two or three secretly stacking. But this guy, his name is Eric Trump, and he's probably not very good at keeping his mouth shut, but that's okay. We don't mind. I actually like people who are blunt and open and honest. And he claims there is a mystery nation who quietly just bought 200,000 Bitcoin. And this sent shockwaves through the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium as well. Everything's happening in Wyoming today. Again, that's worth about $22 billion. Not a lot of money for a nation state, especially in the Middle East. But he didn't give away any specifics, but he did say there's a digital land grab happening by governments and corporations rushing to stack Satoshis or buy Bitcoin. And the potential acquisition would dwarf previous sovereign Bitcoin holdings. And again, we'll see if this nation state game theory is beginning in earnest. I hope so, but airlines are also trying to stack their Satoshis. Airlines want crypto. A couple of the players that are out there, and they all tend to be in the same kind of area, I guess. Emirates Airlines, you can pay for your ticket with Bitcoin or ETH or Tether. Air Arabia, I don't know what AE coin is. Anyway, I never heard of that airline either. Travala, Bitcoin, ETH, etc. Alternative Airlines, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Litecoin, Doge, Cardano. Oh my God, what type of crap airlines are they? Anywho, and Distania. So a whole bunch of different players are accepting crypto now to buy your tickets. Now, let's switch gears because it's Friday Fire. We talk about all the heat that you may have missed today. And there's a lot of heat today. But this is a cool chart as well by... I think his name is, I can't remember the name. Really cool name. But his symbol is in the top right corner, that triangle. But the big observation, this is the apps and founders by ecosystem and the applications by ecosystem driven by new people, entrepreneurs who are building things on blockchains. And there's two big observations you take away from these crypto assets. First of all, L1s are a two-horse race. That is the green and the blue. The green is Ethereum, the blue is Solana. But what's interesting, especially when you look at the delta between H1 2023 and today, H1 2025, the blue has exploded. And I'm sure the green has exploded too. But the problem is the blue is exploding much faster. That means all the ramp is all happening on Solana, and ETH is losing share fast. All the new building is happening on Solana. People are building there because it's the best, quickest, easiest way to make money. You don't pick a difficult platform to build on. There are some projects that decided to build on Cardano 4 or 5 years ago. They still haven't gotten off the ground. That's hard. If you're an entrepreneur, you have enough hardship in your life. You don't need a difficult build on top of all that. Let's look at some DEX volume by chain of the top 10. You can see Solana's number 1 and Ethereum's number 2. Again, supporting the fact that it's a two-horse race. And Marty just came out that Binance Smart Chain is playing a lot of wash transactions to beef up their numbers. We'll see. And then Base is number 4. Hyperliquid, number 5. And then that's basically the winners take most, as usual, is the way of the world. This was a surprising piece of news out of Europe as well, from the Financial Times. So first of all, stunned that the Financial Times even knows what Ethereum and Solana are. But they said the EU is considering scrapping its central bank digital currency plans in favor of a stablecoin CBDC on a public blockchain, according to the FT. Now, I know the European Union wants to monitor what's happening. And if they want a chain that they can monitor, they'll probably go with a layer 2 on Ethereum. But the fact that Solana's in the mix is interesting, and it would cast some things into doubt. I'm pretty sure that the EU, although they say they want to have a stable coin on a public blockchain, I know they want some factor of control, because the whole reason for them fast tracking the central bank digital currency is to have control. Now, there's a whole bunch to this. We don't know exactly what's happening. And I've always been firmly against central bank digital currencies. And it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. We'll see. Sometimes the media gets the wrong end of the stick and they misconstrue stuff. But if they did roll out a stable coin that had no controls, that would be great for Europe. But I think they want the controls. I think they want to track money because, what's her name? ECB head. Oh, it's good. It's good I forget her name. Anyway, she does want control. That's kind of the plan. But we'll see. We'll monitor that story carefully. And this is an interesting little quote as well from Tolley. He said, Google is the world's library, which I would argue that's going to change very quickly with AI. We're not sure yet. It is where people sometimes go to find stuff, but soon AI will be the place they will go. And who knows, maybe Grok will be the world's library. But he said Solana could be the world's giant marketplace. Marketplace, a place to trade, a place to pay, a place to buy stuff, who knows what. But that was an interesting quote too, because we will be talking about Google as well in a second. But stocks of the week, despite the huge pump today, we saw massive moves in many names. We saw things like Tesla go up over $20, MicroStrategy up $20. $20 needs to come on over. Solana up $20. Everything went up $20. Ethereum up $600. Bitcoin up $4,500. Again, a big day out there in percentage terms. But this over the last 7 days, things were not so sweet. NVIDIA down 2%. Apple down 2%. Microsoft down 2%. Google up 1%. Meta down 3.8%. Amazon down 1.6%. And Tesla up slightly positive. So it was, all in all, not a perfect week for AI stocks. Cathie reaffirmed her target $2,900 for Tesla, and she said 90% of the price target will be made up of Robotaxi valuation. And that is super interesting. She believes the Robotaxi market will be a $10 trillion market by 2030. And they sometimes are a little bit early, but their analysis is the best in the business. Even Elon Musk says so. Remember, you got to separate analysis from trading, but that is big. Robotaxi is going to be huge. And there's only one company that has complete vertical integration and make the cars and own the inference chips, the AI chips, everything. It's going to be a fun time. Stay healthy, my friends. And Meta, this is another interesting story too. Meta signed a $10 billion deal with Google to rent stuff from Google. So Meta are now renting cloud deal, infrastructure, servers, etc. And Meta in the past was very reliant on Amazon Web Services. Now they need to scale more, so they are renting server space from Google. And the big Magnificent Seven will just get bigger and bigger. But it shows you the whole arms race. But the crazy thing is, there's a little bit of bad news yesterday, which I posted on about NVIDIA, that China recommends freezing H2O sales, which is their degraded chip, to China, which dinged the stock in after hours last night. Actually, let's see what NVIDIA did today. It is back up, well, another $3. But it's up in after hours too. Again, it's just $4 off the all-time high. So the news last night had no effect pretty much whatsoever. But the crazy thing about the news of Meta renting from Google is, guess what? Guess what they're renting? They're renting NVIDIA chips. So at the end of the day, all roads lead to Jensen Huang. He's the guy making all the money. So interesting partnership. And speaking of AI and compute, Elon is completing the first ever Gigawatt supercomputer for AI training. And that will be in Memphis, Tennessee. And Michael Dell is involved in helping the build out too. And that will be absolutely huge. While all the other competitors, like Meta and Google, they're trying to compete and build a better AI, they can't. They're already too far behind. They can't do the superhuman effort of building these supercomputers like Elon Musk can. And even crazier too, this is a new view of the world. Basically, Elon Musk says it's an easy prediction of where things are headed, i.e., the inference future is edge nodes. Devices will just be edge nodes for AI inference, as bandwidth limitations through Starlink probably prevent everything being done server side. No, sorry, bandwidth limitations in the traditional world. But basically, AI will be the brain that does it all, and apps are probably dead. And that's how things could change. And the space of change, the pace of change, not space of change. Grok is already the best, but it's also evolving 6 times faster than the other LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, OpenAI, and DeepSeek. By the way, Grok is not allowed in China, but DeepSeek is. And Tesla have just activated DeepSeek AI in the Chinese Teslas, which is cool too. Speaking of rockets and rocket ships and the markets being a bit of a rocket today, crazy good day. How things change so fast. But the 10th Starship is getting ready to launch, I think, on Sunday. And everything is in position. And we'll see. They've caught it twice. They caught the booster twice. Wonder will they be able to catch it this third time as well on the 10th launch. It's crazy. And final piece of news, margin. Margin is a double-edged sword. And this came out as well from Augur Infinity, that margin debt surges to $1.02 trillion in July after surpassing $1 trillion for the first time in June. Now, I want to level set this a little bit as well, because yes, in real terms, in dollar terms, it is $1.02 trillion. But if you take into account nominal terms and debasement, we actually hit an all-time high, a much higher amount of probably in today's dollars, about 1.2 trillion in 2018. So it's not a real all-time high. And sometimes these charts and graphics trip people up because they assume a dollar is a dollar. A dollar is not a dollar. A dollar is a melting ice cube, getting smaller and smaller and smaller every year. Okay, so remember that. And finally, meme of the day. This one's a bit of a deep one. Deep meaning meme. Ultimately, the message here is a reminder that true growth comes from below the surface. Okay? Always, it's important to prioritize deep thinking to cultivate skills that sustain you long term. And degrees can complement this. I'm not dinging university educations or degrees, but they shouldn't replace the ability to think for yourself. And if this resonates with you, reflecting on your own roots, ask your question. What is your deep question that you're thinking about, and find the answer. Now, for the first time in the history of the world, we've got tools to find the answers to pretty much anything. But now it's not about who you are and what you know. It's about the questions that you pose. Most important thing. Think and question everything. Think for yourself. Think from first principles. Question everything. Do not believe anything that's in the mainstream media at all. Sorry. A little spice there at the end. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Happy Friday. It's a jolly good day, as they say in the UK. Thank you as well, Renato, Adam Q, Soliola, Sylvan Muster in Switzerland, Tchaikovsky, Skipping Stones, Nick M, Vitruvian Music. I love that name. Piper up there in Canada, and Vitruvian Maniac, you're on fire today, and 3 White Soldiers. Love that. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the best mods in the world as well. TND Tesla, Sean Donnelly, K8, and everybody else. Have a great weekend. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.